Talking Wolves and welcome back to another match preview. The final group stage game in the Europa League. Wolves will be hosting Besiktas at Molineux Stadium, hoping for another 3 points and maybe to top our group. And it will be a difficult task. We do have to win the game and hope Braga drop points or lose against Slovan Bratislava, but it would be a massive achievement. It's a massive achievement already for us to have qualified, really. I think when people looked at the group initially, we actually thought Besiktas were probably the strongest team in our group other than ourselves. We knew Braga were going to be in there and maybe cause some problems. But Bratislava have obviously had their fair share of shouts as well, of course. In the early stages of the group stage, we all thought, I think, they could have been the team that maybe it could have shocked a few of us. But we've played Torino as well. So far, it's been a very, very decent tournament for Wolves, and I'm hoping more of the same in the knockout stages. Before we go into the preview, though, be sure to go and check out our channel partners over at OneFootball. #1 football app for me to go and check out your live scores, live football news, team news, transfer rumours. You can select Wolves as your favourite team when you sign up for the first time. Free to download on Android and iOS, and you'll get all the Wolves news and notifications catered to our beloved Wanderers. So, Europa League match day 6 in the group stage, and Wolves will be facing off against Besiktas. Wolves qualified, so not much to play for apart from possibly a place in the top spot. It's quite confusing, really, how it works with the first and second place. If you do finish first in the group, you more or less avoid every team that drops out from the Champions League, and you'll be playing any of the teams that finished second in their group. Of course, if you finish second, you'll be playing either a team that's seeded or top of the group in the Europa League, or some of the Champions League teams that come down. To be fair, there is a slight pro to finishing top, but either way, there's some really, really strong teams that are still in the Europa League, some really strong teams that have even finished second. But I think if genuinely Wolves want to go and win the competition and go quite far in the competition, they're going to have to beat some of the top teams around the continent anyway. So for me, the more we can, the bigger games we can get, and the bigger games we can get through, the better for us as fans and the better for us as a club, really. You can see some of the names that dropped out the Champions League last night in particular. Inter Milan, Ajax as well. There's some really big ties in there as well. So it'll be a really, really interesting tournament for sure from now, really. But in terms of the match itself, Besiktas, of course, Wolves went to Turkey, to Istanbul, and got a 1-0 win there. That was a huge win, and for me, possibly the turning point in our group stage. I think we sort of had to win that game to keep our qualification hopes alive, and it was such a difficult game, such a tough atmosphere to play in. And I know a lot of Wolves fans, especially some of the guys that I watch on YouTube and the people that I follow on Twitter, were just really disappointed with that performance. But I thought it was a really professional performance by Wolves. We didn't get sucked in. It wasn't our strongest 11 either, but we didn't get sucked in, and we played the occasion really, really well and just waited for our chance. We didn't push out. We didn't go for it as such, and we took our chance fantastically. Of course, we had that disallowed goal, which I think was very unfair, but in the end, Willy Bolly grabbing that winner, and what a moment it was. And speaking to fans that were at the game as well, they said how difficult or how crazy the atmosphere was just as a fan in the stadium itself. But Besiktas as a club at that time were on a really, really poor run of form. Now I believe they're unbeaten in 8 in their league, and now just 3 points behind the league leaders in Turkey. So they've had a really strong run of form recently. But of course, they are now out of the Europa League. So it's been strongly rumoured over beIN Sport from Turkey that Besiktas are going to rest a number of key players. It's going to be a rotated team for them, so we're not going to see some of their stronger players in there. It's linked that Loris Karius may still play, of course, the ex-Liverpool goalkeeper. Is he on loan? I think he might be on loan at Besiktas. But it's rumoured, that he's going to be playing. Mohamed El Neni, the guy from Arsenal as well, he's probably classed as one of their key players, but I've just seen an article that he wants to play tomorrow, so it'll be interesting to see their squad and so on. But I didn't tease it, but I sort of assumed last week on the Talking Wolves podcast that Wolves would rotate as well, and a couple of people said, no, we'll go for it. But it seems it's pretty well documented over the last week or so that it looks like Wolves are going to have pretty heavy rotation going into this game, and I think it's not a bad shout. For me, we look pretty tired against Brighton. We do need a fresh, like a week with no fixtures, I think, for most of the key players. Going into Spurs could give us a huge boost. So there was a big list of youngsters that also joined the Wolves squad on their warm training, whatever you want to call it, to Marbella. So after the game against Brighton, they flew off to Spain for this warm weather training that they've done probably 3 or 4 times now since Nuno came into the club. And very interestingly, a number of youngsters joined the squad alongside Willy Bolly as well. It looks like he's back in light training, which is fantastic. But the youngsters that joined the main squad was Andre Sondergaard, the goalkeeper, Owen Otasawi, Oscar Burr, Lewis Richards, Luke Kundal, Taylor Perry, and Chem Campbell. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see how Wolves do line up for the game. I'm going to check out a predicted lineup. You guys let me know your thoughts as well and what you'd start with this game if you had to rotate or rest a number of the key players. But I know at the time of recording, I know John Ruddy is set to do the pre-match press conference. For the Europa League, it tends to be the manager and a player of the club's choice, I believe. So it'd be John Ruddy in goal. Big chance for him, obviously, not played in a long while. I think Reading maybe was the last game, or no, Villa was the last game he played, sorry, Villa in the Cup. So John Ruddy in goal, so big chance for him, obviously, you know, be a bit rusty, get some match practice under his belt. Back three, I think we're actually in quite a positive position in terms of sort of depth at the moment. I think Ryan Bennett will come back in, whether he plays on the right-hand side or centre, I don't know. And I think the other two will be Max Kilman and Jesus Vallejo. Vallejo, this is a massive chance for him. I think, as you guys know, he's really, really struggled. Really strongly rumoured that his loan is going to be ending in January, so this is a massive chance for him to prove his worth. Nuno has said in the press that he never just gives up on players. Vallejo is obviously a player with talent, and obviously Real Madrid see he's got the potential, and it's just not quite fell for him, has it? He's not really had a consistent run of games, so I think tomorrow's game against Besiktas is key for him and his future at Wolverhampton Wanderers as well. Left wing back and right wing back, I think Vinagre is a cert to start on the left hand side. Right wing back is going to be an interesting one. You look at the players that went. Oscar Burr is a right back. He's been playing right wing back for the under-23s. Could he come in there? Or will Matt Doherty stay there as well? I thought Matt Doherty was really, really sluggish on Sunday against Brighton, to be honest. It probably could do with a rest. Maybe Adama Traore will drop down there as well. Who knows? Midfield 2, presuming we're going to be starting with a 3-4-3 as well. That's quite an interesting one. You look at that, maybe Romain Saiss and Dendoncker could push up to the midfield too. Morgan Gibbs-White is obviously still injured. There's no really other options for me unless you want to go quite brave and play Luke Kundal and Taylor Perry there, 2 younger players. But I think Saiss and Dendoncker could easily push up into the central midfield spots as well. Striker position, it's a cert to be Patrick Catrone, surely. Jimenez is obviously out suspended as well, so he was going to get a rest regardless. Pedro Neto is going to start in one of the wing positions, and then probably the other wing position on the right-hand side is probably going to be Adama Traore to keep his place, or possibly another opportunity for Chem Campbell as well, who's very highly rated. And a big chance for him. But all those youngsters as well, I wouldn't be surprised to see on the bench. Sondergaard with the club, with a squad, maybe we'll see him on the bench. Owen Otasawi really been impressive the last couple of games for the under-23s. I saw him against PSG under-23s at Molineux, and I think he was probably one of the strongest players. So Wolves have got options there. It's not going to be a star-studded lineup like some people may have expected when they first got their tickets, but it sounds like Besiktas are going to do the same. I'm really hoping that Wolves can get 3 points. I'm going to back us to get a win at 2-1, and hopefully maybe Slovan Bratislava do us a favour against Besiktas, against Braga rather, and hopefully we can get top spot. There's some great teams in the draw at the moment. I'm hoping that it's going to be a really decent game tomorrow evening. And then I'll obviously release a video on Friday with our possible opponents for the Europa League next round. And the next round draw is going to be on Monday as well. So we'll have videos and content covering that as well. But guys, thanks a lot for watching. Be sure to let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Are you upset that Nuno is set to play this weak team? Are you happy that the players are going to get rest? And obviously they're prioritising a huge fixture against Spurs. There's some huge games coming up. So I think this rest is going to be really well deserved for the players and much needed as well coming into a busy schedule. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new guys. Hopefully Wolves grab the win. We'll be back with a match review, and until next time, I'll see you all very soon.